are joined today by the wonderful, the insanely talented, my glorious friend, Sam Pauly, everyone. Hi, Sam.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you? I'm so happy to see you.
I'm so happy to see you. Hey, what's that tattoo?
My tattoo?
Yeah, what does it say? Is that what?
It's the year my sister was born.
I was going to say, is that the year you were born? Please don't say that's the year you were born.
No, most certainly is not.
Oh, no. How have you been doing? Like, how's lockdown been treating you? Like, what's going on? How,
It's all right. It's I mean, kind of the same as always, just staying inside.
Yeah.
I am down in Florida now. We came down to Florida for the winter so that we wouldn't have to be in like the snowy cold of Chicago. So that's nice, but it's just like kind of going from one house to another. We sit and work all day, but at least this house here has a pool in the backyard, so we can.
Okay, I'm very, very jealous. At least you have some sun.
Yeah, it's nice, but otherwise, just like you just said, like we were just talking about before this started, just hustling,
Yeah. I was just saying before we went live that it's kind of reverting back to like just the hustle life, which is what I call it, where you're just like doing all the things to like get by, really.
Yeah. What all have you been doing?
All the things, all the classes, all the teaching. Same as you, really. I've been seeing that you've been doing lots of teaching online and stuff like that, which is awesome. And thank you to everyone who comes to our classes. Not only just wonderful to be, meet you all properly, but it's also, it's keeping us afloat. So thank you very much.
It's literally, it's what is helping me survive, because I left New York in April, but my apartment is still there. Like I'm still paying rent every month, and I'm just not living there.
No.
So like, because I had just gotten there,
Oh my
I'd only been there for like 2 months, and I re-signed my lease to go back because I know we'll be going back, and I love the apartment that I found, but like, just been paying rent.
Yay! Just what you want. Just what you want.
It's a dream.
Oh my gosh. So we've been asked, well, quite a few questions, which are quite interesting questions, actually. So let me kick off with it's a classic one, but has to be asked, which is from K_Howard_is_queen, which is, of course, what is the best part about playing K Howard? Dun, dun, dun.
You go first.
Well, I always say, I honestly think she is a gift to play, because you get to play both sides of the coin, which you don't get very often in a role. So I like playing the like vulnerability, but then also, she's sassy and she's witty, and so I just, I adore her. I think that we're very lucky to, have played her, because with the song, like people don't see it coming, and then you get to play the, the thing. It's just great.
Yeah. I agree. I love that. Like what you just said, I always like to tell people one of my favorite moments in All You Want to Do is like when you get into like the third verse and chorus, and you can kind of like clock within the audience when people go from like, yes, I love this song, to like, where they have that moment of like, oh, I was laughing like a lot. But I think my favorite part is just like getting to tell her story for what it was, because there are still people that I know that maybe they haven't seen the show yet that like ask which one I play, and they're like, oh, that's the slutty one, right? And I'm like, no. So like to get, and just to get to be able to tell that story and it's all the queens could say that, truly.
They
could. Getting to tell their stories for what they were. That's
I don't, like in school and stuff where you are, did you get taught anything about like the queens or British history or anything like that? Like,
no, not really. Even like when I was first going in for the show, the only one I really knew was Anne Boleyn.
Yeah.
that's kind of it. Everybody else, I had to like look up who they were and think about like, maybe I would get called in for this one. I don't know.
Who did you think you would get called in for? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just from listening to the cast recording first, I either thought Katherine Howard, Aragon, or Bolin.
Yes.
Aragon, just listening to the way that Renee sings the end of that song, that you're like, how? Crazy. Then I'm like, oh yeah, that seems like something people would be like, well, you can do that, right? And anytime I try, I'm like nothing comes out.
Don't be silly. Of course you can sing it. Come on.
I've tried and it's not good. Yeah. But those were the three that I was like, it'll probably be one of these.
Yeah, I was the same. Like when I was auditioning, I just thought, well, it's going to be Aragon, you know, the Spanish thing, you know, that's just what it's going to be. And then when I auditioned, I didn't even get to sing, you know, No Way or anything like that. I went for Berlin and Kay Howard. And the same, I didn't know really much about Kay Howard, like Katherine Howard. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anything about, like at school, we only had a tiny little paragraph on her. Like obviously Andy had a huge old paragraph, and so did Aragon and all that sort of, but it got to, I think it said something like, oh, she was the youngest of the queens, and she was the adulteress or something like that. I don't know, very like two sentences, and that was it. So I had no idea, but yeah, anyway, it's a fabulous role, as we both know. But here's a question from Alexis.Manning 7380. What was your first professional job?
Like professional theater job?
Yeah, let's go with that.
My first professional theater job that I got paid for.
Yeah.
Right when I graduated college, I did a production of Legally Blonde, and I had to dye my hair blonde.
Did you play
because what?
Were you Elle Woods?
Yes. And I had to
dye your hair blonde.
I had to dye my hair blonde because I think like it wasn't even during rehearsal. Like I booked the show, and they had been emailing me and saying like, oh, we want to see what you look like blonde to see if we need to put you in a wig or like have you dye your hair. And one of my good friends at school did like all the wigs and costumes for shows and stuff. And I was like, do you just have like a blonde wig somewhere that we can like kind of style, put it on my head, see what happens? And that's the picture that we sent to them. And they're like, the wigs just look so fake. And I was like, well, I'm just like sitting in a living room. Like, of course it's going to look fake. But they were like, well, we're just going to pay for you to dye your hair blonde. Like, we'll pay for it, we'll reimburse you, and then we'll pay for it to go back after the show is done. And I don't think that like the two old straight men like understood what that would take.
Yeah. It's a hefty job.
It's a hefty job. And then anytime like my roots would start to come in, they'd be like, you need to go get your hair dyed.
Yeah.
And I would have to go back. And so by the time the show was done and it went back, I dyed it back. It was so fried that I did like a big chop, like chopped my hair.
Amazing hair though. Like I'm like, that's amazing that they could dye it blonde and it still looks gorgeous. I mean, even the pink for me, my hair was ruined.
Wrecked. Especially the second time, like doing the pink, having to dye it dark again when I went to London. And then when I came back, they did the pink again. But the first time I went, the person that I went to didn't let it lift light enough. So it came out like reddish. And Gabby was like, oh, no. We're going to send you back. And so then she had to like, this woman had to bleach it all over again. And that's when my hair was like coming out in like chunks.
Right? But it looks great. Like, it looks so good and healthy.
That's good. Yeah. It wasn't. It felt like straw.
Mine too. It was on that part where it would get to like 2 weeks, because he had to go back. I had to go back every 2 weeks. I don't know if you had to do that, but it would get to like the last couple of days at the end of the 2 weeks, and it would be like, you know, like a salmon sort of color and just like the worst.
Yeah. I just started doing it at home myself.
I tried that, but I kept getting the dog. So obviously my my dog's white, and so she'd end up like with a little pink bum or a little pink ear. Just
oh my God, I love that. Well, what was your first professional job?
Oh, well, actually, it was this rock. I didn't get paid a lot. I got paid like £100 or something for like 3 weeks work. But I guess that kind of was my first professional job. It was this rock musical called Enchanted, about Lancelot and Guinevere and King Arthur, that sort of time. It was actually pretty epic. I played like maid number 3. And I loved it. I had the best time. You know, no pressure, maid 3, and it was great. Yeah. We have got Paige. We have got from Paige. If you could go back to one moment in the past, what would it be?
Like in like my own personal past?
I'm gonna say
history.
Maybe history.
Oh.
That's a good one, actually, isn't it?
I don't know. Do you know yours?
I mean, I'm not saying this because, you know, we're both here, but I feel like the moment, you know, they always talk about the moment where Katherine Howard, you know, she got dragged out of the building and she tried to run and find Henry and all of that moment. I'd quite like to see if that actually happened. Or like, I'd like to go back to like some moment in her life, you know, that we really know and understand, to see if it was actually like that. You know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like one of those.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good.
Right? That'd be quite interesting. I mean, any of the Tudor times would be so fascinating, I think.
Oh my God, yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, maybe that, or like
what?
It's not like dumb, but it's just like when I think of like epic things that I would have loved to like be there for or like see live.
Yeah.
I really would have loved to have been there in person at the Olympics when Whitney Houston sang the national anthem.
That's amazing.
Like that, just because it's her version is like my all-time favorite, and every time I hear it or like watch a video of it, I cry and I think it's so epic. Like when I think of like of stuff like that, of like maybe performances I would have liked to see live, that's one of them.
No, I love that. That makes perfect sense. Yeah,
I don't know why that just popped into my head.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if that's like the number one choice, but that would be cool.
I mean, it's up there. It's definitely up there for sure.
It's up there.
Okay. We've got from Courtney.Stapletown. We've got, what was your favorite line in 6? I'm going to say that maybe that's like your line, one of your lines. I have to be honest, I've forgotten a lot of the lines. That's so bad.
Yeah, me too. Favorite of mine. It's not really like it's not like a big line of Katherine Howard's, but like one of my favorite exchanges is when like what is the line that we say when Aragon comes in and she's like, oh my God, someone is gonna know what I'm talking about. I can't even think of any of the lines. Holy shit. Shoot, sorry.
Aragon comes in. Oh,
when she's like something about and we say no, and then we keep talking.
Nice neck, by the way.
No. Oh man.
Oh wait, I know. Yeah, she's standing here. No. I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
What are any of the lines?
Berlin's just said something and she says, oh yeah, blah, 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 and you go, no, that one.
Yeah.
You know what it is. I know you're going to be like screaming at the screens right now. That line is good. It's a good one.
Something about that exchange is just so funny to me. Like the passion with which Aragon like says her thing and then we're just like, no, and like move on, I think is so funny.
Yeah. I mean,
oh my God. What, are people able to like comment as they're watching this? Like,
I mean, because YouTube is like delayed, I think a little bit.
Yeah, it's delayed. Someone's gonna know it. And
someone will know it. So sorry, forgive us. I went to see the show before because we're in another lockdown now. So I went to see it the first time since I was in it. It was so surreal to like watch it because, well, it's the same. I guess I know what people are thinking at that moment. I know what it was so bizarre. I mean, amazing. Yeah. And I finally, not that I didn't know the show was amazing. I knew it was a great show, but just I went, oh my God, it's so good.
Yes.
It's so good. And we've got your set now, which is stunning, and all your costumes, which are just beautiful. And it just looks great.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I mean, like, you know, we're up there the whole time. We don't get to see like everything that's happening.
The lights
behind us. Like when we were in Canada last year, there was a show that I watched because I was injured, but I stayed and I watched the show that night. And like all of Aragon's monologue before her song, like the lights.
I know.
I was sitting during the entire like Ex-Wives all through No Way. I was just sitting there like this.
Because I have funny that you said that. Like dum dum.
Yes. And I was like, what?
It's so good. And at the end of All You Want to Do, that lighting stake, Paul Gatehouse, well done. It's fantastic.
It's stunning. It's beautiful. And like we're standing in it and you're like, it's pink, I guess. Like we can't see it. We can't see what it looks like.
This is, pink or something. I don't know.
This is pink. I don't know. Like it's so that's the best. Like you're right. It is kind of surreal. Because then I also, like, when I came and saw it in London, I found myself just, like, watching you the whole time because I knew I was going to have to go back to the show soon, and I wanted to make sure I remembered it. So it was less me, like, taking in the whole picture, and it was more me, like, okay, now Amy's over here. Okay, over there. And then we say this. And I was, like, sitting on the stool in the back up there, just, like, kind of doing, like, the choreography. But then, like, to be chill enough, also I had, like, a drink or two when I watched it a second time that I was like, yes! Just, like, screaming in the back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Even like the intro, like the house music before the show starts, like the ding 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 ding, all this stuff. I just sat in the audience, just going, I could feel like the nerves and the like anxiety brewing within me, knowing that I would be behind the curtain and it's playing in your ears and like just waiting for it to open. And yeah, it was nuts, but really cool. Oh, here we go. We've got Fens Lopez. What would you do if you and I swapped lives for the day?
Oh my God. I honestly would just like snuggle in bed with your dogs all day. Like so small and they just look so cuddly. Do they like to cuddle?
Yeah, Wolfie doesn't. So the white dog doesn't really like to cuddle, but Magic, who's staring at me into my soul right now, and Roxy do. They're proper cuddly dogs.
Okay, when did you get Roxy? I feel like every time I look at your Instagram story, there's like a new dog in the house.
I've got a problem. I've got a serious issue.
I love it. I wish that I could do that. Matt will not let me do that at all.
It's a problem. It really is. And I keep saying to Gribby, why don't you get a dog? Because technically that's not my dog. If you get a dog,
right,
house and like there's 4 dogs, but it's not my dog and not my responsibility. Yeah, I got Roxy. God, she's like 7 months old. Yeah, so not long ago, just before I went on that crazy walk across the country, I thought, you know what? Just to add to the stress, I'll get a puppy.
Yeah. Oh my God. She's so cute.
She's so cute, and I'm just in love with my dogs. Like they get me through life. They really do. The same as probably your dog does. Just
Well, I mean, like full of personality over here.
Oh my God.
Just like spooning this pillow.
It's just adorable.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would just like hang out at your house and I would just like snuggle with these dogs all day.
That's what I do most of the time. I think now you're in Florida, I would be taking, all the sun, all the tan, swimming pool. Yeah, I think I'd be doing that really. That would be amazing. Living the dream, living the Sam Pauly dream.
Just living in the sun.
Living in the sun. We've got from Dancing Dot, Eloise. What advice would you give to aspiring performers? I mean, it's a bit of a tricky time to be giving, but you know, if this wasn't happening, and when it stops, you know, when we go back to some sort of normality, I think mine is this. I say it all the time, and I'm sure you have all heard me say this 1,000 times, but it just really is to never give up, because you just don't know. Like for me, before Six happened, I wasn't really doing musicals. I was off doing my own thing. I'd kind of not stopped doing them, but you know, I couldn't really get seen for anything. Things weren't really happening for me in the industry. So I thought, I'm going to go off, do my girl band. You know, I went on cruises, did all of that sort of stuff. And then Six came out of the blue and changed obviously my whole life. So you just honestly never know when that phone call is going to happen, and it will come in the stretch. Like I never thought a musical about Henry VIII's wives was going to completely change my life, and you just don't know. So just keep going is my advice.
Yeah, mine is probably pretty close to the same thing. Like when I booked Six, I was also in a place where I was like, I just need to step away for a while, because theater isn't making me happy anymore. I don't want to go to auditions. I'm not excited about new stuff. That was like on the tail end of like the Bad Out of Hell tour closing all of a sudden, and like leaving people like stranded without work or a place to live. And I, along with like, don't give up, just always know that you're exactly where you're meant to be in this moment. What's meant for you is meant for you, and it will find you. Like you said, like it might not be when you think it should be. I would have loved to be on Broadway when I was 22, like some of these people now, that I'm like, what was I doing when I like, why wasn't that me, that I'm like offended by it? But like everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
It's not going to look like what you think it should look like. And you just have to remember like why you fell in love with theater in the first place.
Yeah.
Like what made you want to do it.
Yeah. That's really interesting, isn't it? That we were both in the same sort of mental position when the whole Six thing happened. That's really interesting.
Yeah. You're right. It truly changed my life.
Yeah.
Completely. And I was so set and like, no, I'm not really doing anything right now. I said no 3 times when they were asking me to come in. And finally our music director called me and she was like, I just really think this show is for you. Like we've seen some people now, and I just really think just make a tape. Just like record yourself. I still have that voicemail. I will never delete it ever.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a minute and a half of her just being like, I get it. I understand what happened to you, but like there's a part in the show that it's you. This show is for you. And I was like, okay, this is like the 4th time it's coming around like this. I guess it keeps coming back for a reason.
See, it's true. You see, it does find you. Yeah. It does find you. So you have to kind of like Sam was saying, just trust that, you know.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Weird but beautiful, and isn't like just amazing.
Yeah.
Here we go. From Broadway figure skaters, what have you learned about yourselves during lockdown? I think
you go.
Okay. I think it was what we were talking about before we came on here, was just the person I was before Six was like a proper hustler. I had my own business and I was doing, you know, shows all over the bloody world, and, you know, I was doing all the things to kind of just keep myself going, not only financially but mentally, because the musical theatre wasn't really happening for me. And I got really good at that. And then Six happened, it changed my life. And then Pretty Woman happened and changed my life again. And I've kind of got used to, like, it's just so awful, but people calling me to ask me to come and do something. And I was never that person. I had to like bang down every single door, like, and no one would see me, even if I like kicked at it, you know? So I think the lockdown and the whole pandemic has taught me to just, no, remember like who you are. I'm so self-sufficient and I can, you know, I don't, not that I don't ask for help, you should always ask for help, but there's so much strength that I have within me that I had forgotten about, really, when it comes to like just surviving, survival mode. And it's made me remember that Aimie before all the, you know, calls and come and do this and come and do that sort of situation, which I miss her. She's great.
Right. Yeah, I feel like, well, I feel like I honestly never really had to like, I mean, like I did like part-time jobs and stuff like that in between shows, but I never really felt like I had to like hardcore hustle.
Mm.
I never really thought I would enjoy teaching of any kind, and now I really, really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I've like when I first started in March, I was like, I don't know how to teach voice lessons. I don't play the piano. I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm.
And I'm at a point now where I'm like, oh no, I do know what I'm doing, because I'm seeing the difference in the people that I'm teaching, and I'm hearing from them that like they feel good about what we're doing. And so it's nice to know that like there is something else that I can do and that I like to do.
Yeah.
But I've also learned that when things are normal and I'm really busy, I don't necessarily always take care of myself in the way that I should, like mentally.
Mm.
I push a lot of stuff to the side, or I like push it down because I'm like, I have to go to work and I'm busy. I just don't have time to like be sad or depressed right now. And that's like my usual fix.
Mm-hmm.
And now with like not being as busy and having more time to just like sit at home, I'm having to like come to terms with stuff like that and deal with it, and like realize that, oh, I should probably be doing therapy still, even if it's virtually, like just because I can't do it in person. I need to like make myself find a way to do it.
Yeah.
So I've also kind of learned that, yeah, like my usual fix is I'm just busy. I can't.
Me too.
I don't have time.
Me too. And I'm actually still doing that.
Yeah.
I'm still making myself.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's good. It's got. I mean, I should definitely go to therapy. That is a definite. But I always have something else that comes up. They go, no, I can't go because I've got this to do.
Right.
But it's so important, and I don't think we talk about it enough over here in the UK. It's not really a thing, but I mean, it's becoming a thing. But yes, it is definitely very important. And I should definitely be doing that. But I know what you mean. Like you cloud your whole life with like rushing off here and rushing off there, and I've got to do this, got to do it. You know, deadlines and all that sort of stuff that you don't look after yourself really. I don't mean physically. I mean mentally.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is really important.
Oh.
That is really important. So that's good. And we've got one last question, Sam. One last question, which is from Alina_Longmore. Hello, Alina. What's your favourite song to sing? There you go. In the whole world, let's just say.
Oh my gosh. I need a second to think. Do you know yours? Oh my gosh.
What? No. Anything rocky, anything rock poppy. I don't know if I've got a favourite, to be fair. My favourite band's Aerosmith. You guys already know that. So any Aerosmith songs.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What? That's the first concert I ever went to. I was 8 years old.
No.
Yes.
No way. I'm obsessed. How
did I not know that about you?
I just love them. They make me cry. They're brilliant.
Oh my God, yeah. Like they're epic. They're probably my favorite like classic rock band.
Really?
That's amazing.
I think it's that they're so theatrical as well. You know, they've got their music's so theatrical. Probably why I like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything like that.
My favorite song to sing. Maybe like it's probably a theater song, even though I don't like listen to theater, like music theater in my spare time. I just don't.
Yeah.
But I really, really like, I always enjoy singing songs that I know I sing well.
Yeah.
That like I sing in the car and I'm like, I'm nailing it. You know?
I sound good.
Oh, I sound so good when I sing this. Someone should hire me to do the show. Like,
why not? Yeah.
And I don't know what those songs are. Like, I'm sure there are a bunch of them, but like, I love singing Defying Gravity. Like, who doesn't?
Oh gosh. I mean, I wish I could sing it. I definitely can't sing that song, but I know what you mean. Like, it's a proper in the shower situation.
What do you
mean? I mean, oh God, hell no.
Isn't there like a video of you singing it somewhere?
Oh gosh, probably. No one looked for that. No one looked for that.
No, I think I'm thinking of Samantha Barks. I don't know why I just thought of that.
Probably. Oh, I bet, yeah.
Isn't there like a, were you on like a singing contest show?
Yeah.
Did you not sing Defying Gravity on it?
No, I sang The Wizard and I, which I can sing.
That was it. That's it. I knew it was like it. I was like, I'm not crazy. I know I'm not confusing.
Yeah, well, that's the tune. Actually, we were thinking about this the other day. What do you think is this isn't on the list, but what do you think is the best musical theatre song of all time? And I feel like Defying Gravity is definitely up there. Like, it's so epic and like, yes! It's definitely got that.
It is very epic.
I can't really think of like another really epic, like,
oh man,
one that, I mean, there's loads of songs that make me feel amazing, but that one, I just think when you see it in the theatre as well, you're like, takes your breath away, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. I would say like, oh man, I would have to think about that because I feel like there are ones that like instinctually I would say, but then thinking about it, I'd be like, I guess it's whatever.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We'll think on that. We'll think on it.
That one.
But thank you for joining us on Thespie Thursdays.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
It was so much fun. And I want to see you in real life, please. I haven't seen you for, was it the show? So that was a long time ago. It was like,
great. Yeah. That's the last time when I did your show. Is that the last time?
Yeah. I really want to come to New York and see you when you open the show. If I'm not in Pretty Woman by then, I am coming. I'm going to come. I'm going to be there because it's going to be a beautiful, magical evening.
Yeah. Come visit.
Absolutely. I'm there. Yeah. Sam Pauly, everyone. Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, I will speak to you very soon. And I will see you as soon as I can. Yeah. Lots and lots of love.
Love ya.
Bye. Oh, bye, everyone. There we go. Bye.